Hey everybody, just trying a stream on this one. This will be the first time on this particular rig and this account. So I thought that I'd play around with another game, kind of like what I did with Cyberpunk, just trying out a game that everyone else is playing, so I can kind of slide in under the radar. But Satisfactory is another one of those that I really enjoy. Played a lot of hours in the regular builds, basically since I think update 2 or so. So I've been playing this game for a while, but um, decided that I'd start from scratch in the experimental build. I was going to wait until this game went live, or update 6 went live, so it would be out of the experimental build and in the regular branch. Um, but I just heard from Snoot on the Coffee Stain YouTube page was saying that the entire team and most of the country and Europe, I think, is going on vacation for the next 2 weeks, which I seem to remember from my own childhood as a military brat over there that was kind of a thing in the summers. But just thought it would be fun to kind of play through and get going on the experimental view and just see what this new patch is all about. This will be a pretty casual playthrough, so um, Satisfactory is kind of a game that I just play to veg out and chill when I got a couple hours, and that's sort of what I plan to do on this. I'll just kind of explain some of the things I'm doing. I'm not an incredible architect, so you probably won't get super incredible ideas. I've got an art degree, but that doesn't really help in this so much. But let's see what I can create. I'll just kind of go through and play it how um, ways that I think are cool, and kind of explain what I'm doing. So let's get started. I'm just going to start a new game, so we're going to start from scratch. So these are your 4 choices if you've never seen this before. I am not going to set this to private. I'm going to set this to friends only so that one of my friends can jump in. I am going to keep the intro on this one, so if you've seen it before, this might not be the most exciting start you've ever seen. Session name, let's call this Dawn Stealer Stream. And it'll be a double entendre because I'm planning on starting in the Northern Forest. This is kind of my favorite starting place. So you've kind of got 4 starting places. If you've never played this game before, you've got the grass fields, which is kind of easy mode. This is kind of the beginner starting place, but I don't think it's the best one. A lot of the resources are kind of bad nodes, and they're all spread out, so you end up with these little factories that aren't producing very much dotted everywhere. Desert is kind of the opposite. It's kind of hard mode, and everything is spread out, but the nodes are a little bit better. The forest is kind of, I think it's one of the better starting locations, but there's a lot of undergrowth, so critters can sneak up on you. And oh, never mind. This is the Rocky Desert. This one isn't bad. This one's another good starting location. I think this one's a little bit better as far as critters go. My friend Sister Puppy likes to start in the Rocky Desert. I always start in the Northern Forest. This is the one, basically everything I said about this one is this one. I just got them screwed up. So there, Merry Christmas. Told you this was casual. So we're going to do the Northern Forest. Again, keeping the intro, so if you've never seen this before, I'll just be quiet and let you watch this intro. Again, this is experimental build, so could be bugs on this. We'll find out together. There actually probably will be bugs on this, according to the Coffee Stain announcement on it. So let's go. Wait for it. There's one nice thing about going between Satisfactory and Star Citizen is Star Citizen kind of vacillates between being a train wreck and being a amazing, mind-blowing experience. Satisfactory, at least in their main branch, is pretty solid. And again, that's kind of the difference between a massively multiplayer game that's kind of building the airplane as you fly and a single-player game. Here we go. Get used to having my head tracking. Sure, that won't come up. Almost has like a Portal feel to it, which in the best way. This game has kind of a subversive sense of humor to it. There's our forest. So first thing we're going to do when we get out of this thing is you're going to see me just start grabbing a bunch of leaves. And the reason is because wait for it. Oh, it wants me to look at the codex. So again, I've said this in my Star Citizen vids when I've actually shown playing and Cyberpunk, but I'm actually running an ultra wide, like one of those 49-inch things, so you can't see all of the screen over here and over here, but it's got my stats and stuff kind of off screen to either side. But yeah, we need to see that again. Okay. Oh, missed that. But you hit tab to pull this up. This is our little pokey stick. That is the official name. But one of the things that's new on this is you've got body, back, and legs, where you used to just have one body slot. So now you can run 3 different kinds of things, which is really, really, really nice. Because it used to be, well, we'll be, yeah, and we should be going like right over here. Oh, nope, we're not going that way. Come on. That's our baby right there. That's the direction we want to go. Okay. So now that she's done talking for now, wait for it. Okay, I think we're good. So we just start here, which is pretty good. There's a start location right down there that isn't bad, but I think the nodes on it are moderate or impure, so you don't get as many resources. The place where I'm going has pure. The way that I try to play this, ooh, did I mess up? Oh no, the road's over here. Okay, I'm a little turned around. They have updated some of the scenery in this one, so I might get a little bit lost, which is actually kind of fun. The way I usually play, at least the way I played the last time, was I try to make it. Yeah, you can see all that flashing up there. So I have to patch that out. But the way I play is I try to kind of do what the opposite of what the game wants you to do and try to preserve nature, um, which is difficult to do in the beginning game because everything runs on biofuel, which is just plants. But we'll get there. So yeah, so there is a story to this game, or at least there will be once the game goes live. Okay, so you can sort of see that little ball right there. You can also see the little pig over there. And they've got official names. I'm going to call them pigs and bees, even though I know that they call Coffee Stain calls them crabs. But you'll notice that I try to take down plants in um, kind of a diplomatic way, that I'm not pulling down everything, which isn't the most efficient way to do it. But I think it makes it look pretty later. Like, one thing you can't do is go back and repair the forest and everything after you've chopped everything down and destroyed everything. So I I try to kind of keep it a little clean at first. And oh man, it has been a long time since I started this fresh. I'm not used to being this slow. This will be real interesting. I remember what this valley looks like when it doesn't have a factory sitting on it. So, let's see. I know there's more pigs over there. I try not to kill any animals except spiders and the bees, just because, for the same reason, you can't, once you have power running over them, they don't come back. So I'm going to try to leave as many of these plants here as possible. That's definitely not going to last. This is my favorite starting place. So you can see that there's iron there, there's iron there, there's iron around the corner, there's iron right there. These are all pure nodes of iron. So in the early game, iron is the thing that you build with, iron and copper. There's a pure copper node right around that corner. There's a pure concrete node right there. There's pure quartz down there. So right off the bat, starting here just gives you a huge leg up in the whole game. This tree, I think, is new. Or I cut it down. I don't know. Maybe column A, maybe column B. I'm not sure. Okay, again, I'm trying not to pull too many of these, but I know I'm going to have to. Now, the real question is, I think I'm going to put, so the hub is kind of where you do all of your research, and initially it's your only power supply. So I'm going to put the hub right here just so that it's central, and the plan will be to eventually, does it want me to scan right now? This is the problem with doing this is the problem with doing the tutorial, is that it might not be unlocking stuff for me. Let's see if it'll unlock it now. There we go. Yeah. All right, so right now we can only build one thing. One thing I want to do is make sure that I have it facing the right way. I believe now I'm trying to remember. I think the power appears on this side. So right now I'm not too awful worried about facing. Um, so you'll notice in this early game, I'm just going to kind of be slapping stuff down. The goal will be at a later point once I've unlocked a bunch more things, then I'll just kind of go through and delete these and actually build a factory the way you're supposed to, the way that looks good. But for right now, I'm just trying to get up and running. So I'm going to do that. And so you can see that little bean right there, and that one right there, and that one right there. Those are bees, and they've changed them up. It used to be there's this weird little branch thing, and it would pop, and these 3 bees would come out. And in the early game, they're a huge pain in the ass. But once you killed those 3 bees, you were done and over with it. The problem is this thing now spawns, I think, 5, and if you don't destroy it, it'll just keep spawning them and spawning them and spawning them. So you got to ignore the bees, destroy that, and then you're okay. So I've seen videos of it, have not seen it in action. The bees are like the thing that kills me the most in this game, which just sucks. So this is your basic hub, and you saw it when I was laying it down that there was a lot more to it on either side. And so what you can do is you can tag into this and you can make stuff. And so we've got iron ore, and from iron ore we can make iron ingots. You can tap this button and it'll make 1, or you can hit spacebar and it'll just do it automatically until you run out of resources or you hit spacebar again. Since there's nothing else I need to make right now except iron ingots, I'm just going to let it go for a little bit here. I think I only need like 10 plates or something, but I'll show you the next part here in a second. So you can see that it's not 1-to-1, that each one of those creates... oh, actually, yeah, the iron ingots are 1-to-1, so you have one iron ore creates 1 ingot. So we've created everything, so it's run out of stuff, so it's stopped. And so again, this is a factory game. So if I come down here, I can make, from the iron ingots, I can make plates, and each ingot makes 2 plates or 1 rod. So it's 1-to-1 with the rods, it's 2-to-1 with the plates. And so, like any factory game, it's kind of keeping mind of those ratios in order to make an efficient factory. In the early game, you're just pumping out resources. So now what you do is you come over here, look at this, and we could say, okay, what do we need to unlock the next things that we're going to need? And we're going to need 10 rods. So knowing that, and knowing that it's 1-to-1, I need 10 iron ingots, which I've got 35. I can make 35 iron rods. I'm only going to make 10 or 11. Going to keep it at that for right now just because I'm going to do a bunch of unlocks at once. So going to go ahead, unlock that, dump in our rods, or fire it off. So now it's upgraded our hub. You can see that it's got this frame around it. And this, it's basically this. Yes, they can. They are real useful because they don't use power. especially in the early game. If you build a bunch of those portable miners, you can actually get a bunch of resources. It's just not super efficient. Okay, so now you can see that you need 20 rods and 10 plates. And then that unlocks all of this. So we need more iron. So right now we just walk on the run over and just start chipping out rock. And early in the game, this is deliberately painful because they want you to start automating as quick as possible. So we've got 27, we got 30, we got 3. So you can see that this is a pure node. So each time I chip it, I get 3 iron ore. If this were a normal node, I'd get 2. If it were impure, I'd get 1. And so when you set up a miner here, it's the same way, that you get a lot more rock out of a pure node, or a lot more ore out of a pure node than you would with a normal or impure. So I'm just going to get us up to 100, which right there is 99. That's close enough. Come over here. And we're going to make iron ingots. Again, just hit spacebar, let go. And this is why you want to automate, because you're going to have machines that do this part later so that you can go do other things. Mostly set up other machines to make other stuff. But this is the flow of the game. And early on, again, deliberately painful. And unfortunately, you do have to sit here when you're at the workbench and do it rather than doing it automatically. But again, no hands. Spacebar. Way to go. And I'm just going to this is going to be way more ingots than we actually need for this introduction. I just want to knock it out so that we don't have to keep coming back and doing that process again. Which is the way I kind of do it. And I'll do some things off stream. Maybe some prettying up unless I get a lot of chat, which right now isn't a problem with my 5s and 5s of followers. But yeah, eventually if y'all leave me comments, ask me to focus on this, any questions I can answer about this. Been playing this game for a while. Happy to do it. So I'm going to get about, I'll probably do about 2/3 of this as plates. So when I get to right about there, let's switch this up to rods and build a bunch of rods. So again, it takes more to make a plate than a rod. So there we go. Okay, we got all of that. Let's spin around and go here. And I'm sure this is going to play with people who play this game a lot. This is going to play with their OCD, but trust me, it's going to look prettier a couple weeks from now. So we need 20 rods and 10 plates, which we have. So we're going to go ahead and unlock this. Again, just double click on these. Upgrade the hub. Now we can look around. Now we've actually got walls and stuff, which is pretty nice. We've got ain't wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll do this first. So what she's telling us to do is build an equipment workshop, and so this is going to live next to the hub for a little while. So this is going to kind of be my place for doing stuff. So I can build 4 miners. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just going to bang out 4 of those real quick. and you'll see why in a second. So now I've got 4, and this is the thing that's kind of lame, is they take up a hand slot. So, okay, put that down. Put it down. There we go. Okay. So, you can put it there. Comes out. And starts drilling. Now, if you want to see what it's doing, it's just picking up iron ore. And it'll do that until it'll pick up 80 per minute. And I think it fills up at 200. But we're going to repeat that process 4 more times on this particular iron node. Again, you don't have to put 1 on each node. So, I mean, as long as it is touching that node, it counts. So I'm just going to do that and let all those guys go. And you'll see they'll stop drilling when it's full. So let's see, what are we up to? 69. So we're still nice. So let's see. What else can we build? We can build a smelter, which we need copper for. So now we are going to go ahead and we're going to deal with these bees. If I'm going to die in this first playthrough, this is going to be it. So we're going to run up. There. So we killed that. So there should be bees. Yup. Yup. There they are. Ah! Ah! What? Ooh, that was weird. I need to reset my controls. I didn't see that one there. So I should spawn. Oh, crap. Okay, hang on. It's spawning more. So I need to go. Otherwise, it's just going to keep spawning them. Luckily, okay, so you can see those stopped. Okay. Yo, come on. Come on, take off. Thank you. We're gonna run away. Great you. There we go. Come here. I cleverly killed them by slamming them into my body over and over again. There. God. Hate those things. Alright. So, now that those are out, they become a little easier to deal with. I'm not used to moving this slow. We can pick up its hide. So those are one of the few critters that I kill. That and the spiders, just because they will pursue you to the ends of the earth. So we're just going to crack this one open too. Another thing that they fixed in this one, right now my health is about 1/3 of the way up. Previously, what would happen is, let me make sure there's not a 4th one hiding in the trees here. Okay, no, there isn't. Previously, your health would only go up 3 bars out of the 10, I think. So, you just continuously die if you were in a bad spot because there's no way to fully heal up. I know what the other problem is that I am, is it just spawning them in slow? I must have killed a few as they're spawning. You get a bigger weapon that swings faster. This is not very fast. I just figured out that that's what's going on. It's been a long time since I started from scratch. Okay, so every time you crack those, it opens up the node, which doesn't matter when you're using these hand miners, but it does matter when you start building up the automation on the factory, which I think we'll unlock next. And I'm going to go around and get copper in just a second. So yeah, I'll need to get that copper first. So we're going to grab this. Okay, so it's only 100. So we're just going to let that keep going. We're going to grab all and pick it up. We're going to grab all, and I'll show you why I'm grabbing this one and taking it with. At the moment, we don't really need a bunch of miners, but I am going to pop around this corner. And if you see that, that is copper. And I wanted to say there was bees there, but I'm not actually seeing them. Maybe they changed that. This used to be... Nope, they changed it to copper. I want to say this used to be caterium, which is kind of like gold. So we're going to grab this and head over here. Yeah, I could swear there's bees over here. That was the one downside with starting here, was that a lot of those bees, crabs, they call them crabs. I call them bees. But copper is something that you need. So we're going to switch that up and drop that there. So that's grabbing copper. And I'm actually just going to sit here for a couple seconds and grab all that copper so that I don't have to run back. Eventually I'll build another base here. On top of this one, which is pure, there's another pure copper node right there. And I think... Is that one of the reasons I had problems with bees, that I didn't have that equipped? Maybe. I'm used to having more than one hand slot too. But there's another copper node up there, so I usually build one big base that wraps around this. I think what I'm going to do instead this time is... oh, I can show you the rest of the area right now while we're waiting. So you've kind of got a desert down here, and there's concrete up there, which you really need to build any sort of a base. That's kind of cool. So this is new, this patch. The trees on all of this, for the longest time, these have just kind of been dead columns. They look more like this rather than that with a bunch of life on them. But I think I'm going to build a base going from this edge over to that edge, and it'll be sort of a central collection area, and I'll have a train running on either side of this column. That's the plan sort of migrating through my head right now. And then, as opposed to having a couple mega bases building a bunch of products, I'll have a bunch of little bases that just kind of funnel stuff off to the trains. This area, since it's my starting location, I usually kind of combine all of the iron stuff in this little pocket. I have the concrete coming into it, and I'll have the copper kind of feeding into it, just because early on it makes it easier to collect all those things and build out your base and kind of step your way up. Basically, the goal is to get to coal power as fast as possible, because at that point you're not running around grabbing trees to try to power your base. And that's when life starts to get a little bit easier. But of course, the more production you have, the more power it has, and eventually coal just can't keep up. So you're always kind of fighting the curve on power until you get to nuclear. But that's pretty much it. That's kind of my plan, is eventually kind of build a mega base here that the trains are coming through, and this will kind of be where all of my supplies are brought in. And I think what I'll do at that point is kind of make it that the really sort of complex equipment I'll build there, like probably weapons and Nobilisk and things like that, I'll build in this central base. But everything else, like iron, I will have it build the entire iron, all of the iron commodities. This one I'll have build all the copper commodities, and so on. And so this one's done. So let's go ahead and get going. So again, I'm just going to grab all that and let it go. And I'm going to run up over the hill here and hope that there's not a pig up here. A few of these. Again, I don't want to go too overboard because I do want to preserve that. I'm also getting a bunch of berries too, which is also kind of key. I'm going to come over here and grab this. So at this point in the stream, because There's not a lot of automation yet. This is a lot of doing things by hand. This is the point where you can safely go and get a coffee or something and you'll be fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is make these iron ingots. So I've got 157 here, which again, each one of these, it's 1-to-1. One chunk of copper ore gives you 1 ingot. But then you can make wire, and I think it's 1-to-3. So 1 copper ingot, it makes you 3 wire. Might be 2. I'm not the most efficient person in the world, but let's see, how's it going up? Yeah, each one makes 2. Each copper ingot makes 2 wire. So it's the same ratio as plates. If I manage to pull in Sensor Puppy, ironically, my job until very recently was an accountant. He's much better at the math and the ratios than I am. So, yeah, I'm good with spreadsheets. I can make spreadsheets look pretty, but I have an art degree. My math skills are incidental. So we'll kind of go through this. How much more do we have? So we're down to 74, 73. So it's about 1 a second. So we're a little bit more of a minute out. Let's look at our resources. We've got about 400 grass. Oh, no. We got like over 1,000. Okay, that's good. That'll keep burning for a while. Usually, typically what I will do is try to get up to, they have an unlock you can do that's biomass. That's a lot more efficient, and then they have biofuel, which is even more efficient. But just for the sake of expediency, I might try to do it with these. We'll see. I'll get that smelter up and running here in a second. I want to see what the next unlock is first. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We can make 300 wire, and from wire you can make cable. So let's go ahead and make iron ingots while we're here. Again, we got 760, so this is going to take a few minutes. I'll probably make a couple hundred here. Just enough to kind of build out the iron plates that I need. And then we'll start automating some stuff. What I really want to do is, before I build a smelter, I don't really see the point of building the smelter before you have the miner. Just that's sort of the first thing that you can automate. I rather do it by hand, which is a lot slower and not super efficient, but saves you power in the end, and you don't have to pull as many plants. I'm that kind of player. So let's see, we can make 44 iron plates or 70 rods. We'll let that get up to 100 iron plates. That'll mean we'll have 200 ingots, which we're sitting at about 80 right now. We still haven't completed the onboarding process. There's 100. Do one more of that. And then I'm just going to build myself a bunch of rods, a bunch of plates, and I'll build all of the wire. And with all of that, we should have enough to kind of unlock the next level and start kind of doing our first automation process. Okay, kind of working through it. We are about 3/4 of the way through the iron there. Again, you can see it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to build 100 iron plates, 100 rods, and that should be enough to get us started. Should be, I think. I'm remembering all these original recipes. 4, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Wait for it. Yeah. All right, there's 100. So we do a bunch of these. Yeah, we'll do 100 of these, and I did my math wrong. See? So get this up to 100 plates. And 2-to-1 ratio. Oh, actually, no, I did the math right. There we go. And, oh, but I screwed up I didn't stop it in time. So here we go. At least the things at this level are a little bit easier to make. They make them fast. There's some things later, like supercomputers, where it takes about a minute to make it by hand, so not really worth it. That's the kind of thing that you want to have automated, even if it takes longer, because you can go off and do other stuff. At this point in the game, we're just waiting to unlock stuff until we're powerful enough that we don't really need to fear a lot of the creatures in the game. And again, I'm going to make all of this wire. I don't remember. I think the next unlock is wire and not cable. We're going to need cable when we start wiring up everything for, ironically, wiring things up. But we'll need cable when we're running power out to everything. And we want to run power, or those B nodes will respawn. We don't want that happening. Speaking of the B nodes, I can put them in the this storage thing over here. I'll show you that. Okay. Almost there. Plus our inventory is so small at this point, it kind of helps to go through and blast things out. Yeah, starting up in this game is always a little slow, but then you start creating the really cool things and it starts paying off. Okay, so there we go. So we got 314. We'll leave that. We can make 507. So this is your storage box. So I'm just going to put, you can't use these for a while, which is another reason I try not to kill the animals, because you can't really unlock the things that they do until later. But I think I'm going to save the flower petals for now. I'm not going to save the wood or the leaves. So let's go ahead and do this. So this unlocks the constructor, the power pole, concrete. That's good. I can go get that one. Reinforced iron plates and screws. Okay. Here we go. Okay, now we should have the biomass burners. So you can see, oh, nope, not yet. Did I put it the wrong direction? I did. So I turned this the wrong way. So now we're going to put the hub down. Not that special hub. Because I want the power facing out, for obvious reasons. I thought it was on this side. Huh. It's not. Oh, did I screw that up? It's on this side? Oh, now I'm getting all turned around. It's this way. Right? Yes, it's this way. Okay. Yeah. I do know how to play this game, I swear. So, okay, more leaves in here now. So now we can put this back in. So when you delete the hub, it takes everything that's in the storage and throws it into your inventory. If you don't have enough room, then it throws it into a crate like this on the ground, which right now it doesn't matter. But so let's see. So now we need cable and concrete. So now we're going to run up and fight the bees up there. I am going to pick up the miner. So that picks up all the ore that's inside of it. So I need to be careful here because I've kind of been panic running away from these things. And unfortunately, if I panic run and fall off here, I'm going to lose all of my crap and I can't really rebuild it. Shit. Okay. That could be a problem. Didn't realize it was going to pop with me that close. So now I need to kill this thing real quick. Okay. No, 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 no. Okay. Hopefully there's not another one here. Thought I heard another one. I hope not. Okay. Nope, there is. Where are you? Saw you. Go away. Okay. So again, you got to crack off this this thing before you can mine it. You can put down a miner on it, and it's fine. So this should give us enough rock that we don't need to do that. So now I am going to put a miner up here just so that one is going. Come on. There we go. And I'm going to get this just in case one of those little bastards got sneaky. I hate the bees. I like the pigs. I feel guilty every time I kill a pig. I never feel guilty killing the bees. Oh, and so now you can see this. So there's your two crystal nodes right there. They're also pure. You've got another copper node there. You've got coal nodes all around this thing, and there's an iron node up there. So that's usually my steel factory is over there. There's a normal or impure coal node kind of tucked around this corner. I usually use that for early coal power, and it's usually enough to power this base if I don't go too crazy on my stuff. But yeah, that's about it. Good starting location. It's my favorite, and it can be really scenic when you build it out right. So let's see. We needed. Let's do this. So 20 cable, 10 concrete. Yeah, we can do that easy. So we can build 147 cable. 20. I'm going to build like 100 just because after this we're going to be able to start running cables and stuff. So. Oh, I don't think I have enough concrete. Get that to right about there. And we'll build as much concrete as possible. Yeah, concrete is one of those things that you can never have enough of. Usually I will build a concrete node, or if there's a concrete node anywhere around, I'll usually, it'll be one of the first things I build at a base, just because you need it to actually build the base itself. So there we go. Okay, so now we've got go the wrong side. So now we got no, they cannot. Pretty important. So when you don't have bushes in the way, you got a little thing here, you got a bathroom here. This thing comes pre-built with graffiti. None of this is usable yet. I'm assuming it will be in the real game, but not yet. So let's see. So the things that we can build right now, not that, this. So production is what we want. So if you want, and we haven't unlocked the miner yet. So I kind of want to unlock the miner before I start doing this. So let's go ahead and do that. What do we need for the next level? So with this one, we get the miner and the storage unit, and that is huge. So the storage unit just means that it's dumping all that stuff in there. So we can almost do this now. We just need a little bit more concrete. So let's just run up and we'll raid that miner, and then we can start building this stuff for real. Because once you can lay down a miner, you can automate things. It speeds things up drastically. You'll kind of notice my early builds won't be particularly efficient, but they are power efficient, and that is kind of what I'm going for. So I'm not just trying to blast out the most stuff I can. So let's go ahead and do this. And I want to pick up the miner. That's the question. Because usually this, let's just grab all. I won't do this one first because I can't start building the floor and all of that yet. So yeah, I'll just do enough concrete to start making a basic layout here and just kind of show you kind of the efficient ways to do it. I don't even think we have a splitter yet. Do we? We shouldn't. No, we don't have logistics. So there'll be another tab here for logistics where you can do a splitter. That's one of the things we want. So we're going to come up here and make concrete. So I think we needed 20, but we're going to need concrete anyway, so I am just going to build a whole bunch of this for concrete. And we're going to need more plates and rods to build the miners and power poles. 78 should be enough for power poles. We're going to need cable. I'm going to make a few iron ingots here. So let's make about 100 iron ingots. I'm going to bust out more plates because building the actual factory pieces takes a lot of components. Probably going to need screws too, which will eat up our rods. Don't make that dirty. Okay. We'll go for about, I think I'll go for about 150 ingots here. I'll build a few iron plates, a few iron rods, make some screws, and we'll go from there. Probably need to make some cable too, but we'll get there. And this is going to play with my OCD a little bit, which thankfully I don't have. At least not that kind of OCD, but the belts move really, really slowly at first. And on my previous build, obviously played it hundreds of hours, that you have the fastest belts. So you put something on them and they're basically done building the thing. So yeah, starting from the beginning again, always fun. Actually is kind of exciting to not have Uber factories and just run around your collector place and pick up everything. You gotta start from scratch. Invigorating. Okay, here we go. We're just about there. Get it up to, yeah, get it up to 150. And we are set. Okay. Make a few iron plates here so you can sort of see my iron plates are right there. I'm going to make about 100 of those. And then I'll make the rest rods, and then I'll kind of split it between screws and rods. So we're about halfway there. Oh, it's going to mess it up because it's going to have one more plate. That's, I'll live with that. Didn't make too many rods with this. Actually, we might need to make more iron ingots here. So I'll just make all of this plates, and then I'll make more iron ingots and make rods from that. Okay, there we go. Let's go back to iron ingots. We'll make enough to make like a, let's see, probably 200 rods. So yeah, we'll make 100 ingots here, and then we'll make yeah, that should be good. Then we'll have enough to make some screws. Then we'll be good. Oh yeah, and I killed another beehive, so I can drop that off. remind me to do that. Go, getting up there. So I want to make about 100 rods, although we've got 78 sitting there. So let's see, how long have we been going? About an hour? That's about right. This game is a time suck in the best possible way. It's such a fun game. So I'll make it so I can make 112 rods here. I guess 122. Once this says 122, we're going for it. One, 22. Stop. No, stop. I hit spacebar. Why? That's okay. So we'll make rods first. All of these will be rods, and thankfully it pumps out rods faster. But yeah, screws it also does. So screws, we'll get there in a second. So again, all of these are kind of ratios. Which when I'm setting up the miner, I'll show you what I'm talking about with that. I can do some of the math in my head. So each rod produces 4 screws. So you can sort of see it's 1 to 4. So you get a lot of bang for your buck, but you also need a ton of screws to build some of these things. So you're always kind of balancing your rod production with a mind for building lots of screws. For some of the components, that can be a huge pain in the ass. So I'll probably get like, yeah, let's kick it up to about 150. In that range, this one I'm not so concerned with, just because you go through them, that's good enough. So first thing I need to do is drop off that. And we should be good for unlocking upgrade 5. Yeah, we're good. Wow, good thing I made more wire. You need a lot of it. Okay. So now, I keep getting turned around because I had set up the other way to start. So this is the other thing I wanted. With 2 biomass burners, you can have twice as much power. The way I usually do it is drop 1 power pole in, and then nope, cable. I run both into it, and this is kind of one of the ways that I always build mine. Is I have all of my factories hooked up to the same power, and I'll set up switches at each factory so that I can shut off power to that specific factory if I need to. Of course, we don't have switches unlocked yet, but that way I put everything on the same grid and everything on the same power node, so that you've always got cumulative power. You don't just have power per factory, which most people build that way, but there you go. So we're going to grab this so that we can get it out of the way. Grab this and get it out of the way. And we should be able to build our first miner. So you can see what it takes there. It takes 2 miners to build an automated miner, 10 plates, and 10 concrete. So we're going to build that. So it's not doing anything yet. But since this is on a pure node, it does 120 per minute. Normally it'd be 100 if you were on a regular node, but remember that this one gives you 3 per. So that's why you want to build on pure nodes if at all possible. And then I'm going to build another node there. So this one I'll probably have making plates. This one I'll have building rods. And I'll probably have another one doing screws eventually. But eventually what I'll do is I'll just have all of that kind of feeding into what's called a sushi line and then splitting off where it's needed. You'll see. We'll get there. But now I need concrete. So again, I could just sit here and chip at it and get 3 limestone each time I do that. Or I can just grab this, grab all. Now I got 100, and that thing's going to grab another 100. Right now that works. Eventually, real soon, eventually, I'm going to want to automate that. So we're going to come up here. I'm just going to build this first one, and then, let's see, we're sitting at about an hour now. How about I build a couple factories here just to kind of show you the basics, and we'll call it a day at the end of that. So, actually, let's get a constructor going. I need iron plates. So, we're here. And we're going to bust out about 95 iron plates. That's not enough. Huh. Should be enough to build one. I'll bet I need reinforced iron plates. Hang on. Hang on. Let me look at that again. Yeah, so you can see that it needs 2 reinforced iron plates. So the way you build a reinforced iron plate, let's say I don't think it's that many, but so with an iron plate, with a reinforced iron plate, you combine 6 plates and 12 screws, and that gives you 1 iron plate. So we need 2 of those, so we need 12 plates and 24 screws. So I am going to build more iron plates since I'm going to build a couple constructors here. So we're just going to bang out a few of these, more ingots, and eventually this will all be automated and we don't need to do this anymore. Got 150 screws. I think that might be our limiting factor right now. So I want to get plates up to about 50 here. So we're sitting at 40, 42, 4, 50. There we go. So do this again. Again, I'm sure that there's people that have played Satisfactory. They'll be looking at the way I'm doing this, just shaking their heads. Typically what you want to do is automate things as fast as humanly possible. I find that it's easier for my brain to get your unlocks to a certain point and then do it. Just it's easier than rebuilding the line each time. So I'm going to build a few iron plates here. That should be good enough for what I need to do. There we go. I am going to build out the rest of this concrete. So we got it. I do have a miner in there. I didn't realize I picked up that extra miner. I'm going to have to build another miner. So that's another thing I got to do. But I mean, you can see that I've got a bunch of iron ore here, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So we got enough here. So we're going to... I need to complete the hub upgrade. What do I need for that? So hub upgrade 6. I'm actually pretty close to that one too. And you get biomass. Actually, that might be worth it just to bust that out. And I can do a biomass burner. Yeah, we're going to do that. Hang on. So again, I got enough iron just on my first couple grabs that I don't need to go back and get more iron. You would typically automate this though, and you probably should. Don't be like me, kids. I swear this will all make sense in a minute. I just like having all the unlocks first. And it just makes the build more efficient. Fortunately, I don't have splitters, so I can't really do the build that I want to do to start with, but this will be an efficient build, which I can live with. One thing I am going to do is when I build the storage, I'm going to build it off towards that cliffside, just because that is going to make it easier if I'm eventually going to have the train over there. We have an autosave coming up, which typically those aren't too bad anymore. Used to be it would shut down your game for a couple seconds, especially when you start getting a big factory, but it's over and done with now. But anyway, I'm going to build the storage over towards the other side just so that when I eventually move it, when I build the base here, it'll be easier to move stuff. Because when you delete a storage unit, it tries to put everything in your inventory, and if you don't have enough room, which we definitely won't, it creates that little crate, and then you got to build around that crate. So let's see, that should be a few more. We're going to need more concrete, and I think we're going to need more cable. Yeah, we're going to definitely need more wire, I think it was. I think we need 100 wire. Just keep going for a few more minutes. I want to have 200 ingots here. Once I have 200 ingots, I'll build some plates, build some rods. I don't think I'll need screws. Then we can start going. I'll go grab the copper and then a little more concrete. Let me look at this and get what the formula was. Again, my memory, not good. I'm old. There we go. So we got 100. Let's go ahead and build a few plates. Knock that out. I think we need 100 plates, 100 rods. 100, is it 50 concrete and 100 wire. So I definitely want extra plates on this. And so you can see right now that we can't make, it's light gray on the reinforced iron plates because we only have 8 screws. So let's get this up to about, let's make it 200 plates here. And then we'll make the rest rods. If I need to make more ingots, I will. Because I'd rather have the plates. All of your, early on, your belts are all plates. So you really need to make tons of plates. So let's make the rest of those rods, make a few more ingots. Want to have, don't need as many rods this early in the game. Rods become super important at the next level. Because again, you're building so many things with screws like the reinforced plates. But right now it's not a huge deal. Oh yeah, that's right, making ingots, not iron rods. I was looking at my iron rods wondering why it wasn't counting up. Yeah. So want to make it that I can make about 100 of them. We're sitting at about 50 right now. We actually might need, no, I think we'll be able to start doing, I'll be able to build a rod line and a plate line, and we'll be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate rods and plates, so I'm not doing this anymore, and once I no longer have to do that, then I can start combining things and making it a little bit easier for myself after that. So there we go. Now we're going to make 100 rods, which tends to be pretty quick. Don't think I need screws for that. Yeah, I don't think I need screws on the next part. I do need more concrete and I do need more wire. So we'll just run over, grab that. I'm going to automate that too. And initially, I'm going to, I'll run a belt over and put the, well, I'll just show you now. So, I'll put 3 or 4 storage units here. Let's see, how many do I need? Initially, it'll just be 4 because it'll be rods, plates, concrete, and wire. Eventually, it will be many more, and I'll just kind of line them up here. I'll probably do that pretty quick. But once I start making more commodities, once I can actually make the bases, I will come back and I'll build a base here, and that will be where the storage is, or at least the initial storage. And I want to have that one just kind of keep doing its thing. Grab me more concrete, and then we'll be ready to rock. Again, early game, you're doing a lot of running around just because shit's whack, yo. Man, that looks so much prettier with trees all over it. It is kind of a neat game. It's one of the reasons that I don't really like destroying the nature on this game, even though it's kind of the point. Let's see if I can drop off. So you eventually get... Yes, you can drop that way without taking damage. You eventually get things you can put on your legs, let you drop further. So yeah, I can never remember how far you have to fall before you take damage this early in the game. Not very far, but apparently farther than that. I think if I were to drop off that, I'd take damage. Okay, so concrete, we're just going to make all of it concrete because there's nothing else you can do with limestone but make concrete. At least I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything that you use the actual core limestone for other than making concrete, which you use plenty of it. Later in the game, you're always running out of concrete. So we're going to do all of this again, copper ingots. We need as much wire as we can get. We're going to need cable, but 28 will be enough to get this first line started. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, this part's always slow. Again, should be automating it. We don't wanna. How many plates we got? We got 203 plates. Hang on. So we got 203 plates, we got 195 rods, we got 12 reinforced iron plates. That's not bad. 8 screws. I don't think any of these initial buildings require screws to build. Screws mostly go into parts rather than buildings. I think. We'll see real soon here. That annoys me. Just got one. Okay. Excuse me. And here we go. Thankfully, wires go pretty quick. It's 1 to 2. And we're getting there. How much cable? We got 28 cable. We'll probably need more cable, but this'll be enough for the unlock and to make that initial line. So, I'm gonna future-proof this one a little bit for the early game. There's a couple parts I'll get later that'll kind of make things a little bit easier on me, but so kind of see me spread this out more than seems necessary. So let's go ahead and unlock this. Yes, we got everything. So we need rods, plates. That didn't go. There we go. That and that. Go. There we go. Oh, here, see this. Did I miss it? Did I miss it? Did I miss it? Okay, so a lot how I was building stuff by hand there. Oh, and I can do biomass now, so I'm going to do that real quick. Just biomass is more efficient, so um, you can build that with leaves or you can build that with wood. Thankfully, it builds it pretty quick. It's 10 to 5, so it reduces the numbers really quick. Um, but in the same way you build things by hand, so you can sort of see that you take the iron ore and you make iron ingots. You take the iron ingots and you make iron plates. You take iron plates and screws and you can build reinforced iron plates. And the machines you have to set up in the same way, so it's just kind of hierarchical, is you have the miner that pulls up the ore, you have a constructor, or you have a smelter that turns the ore into ingots, and then you have ingots feed into a constructor that make plates or rods, or takes rods and turns them into screws. We don't have the assembler, which is a two-parter, and that's what we need to make reinforced iron plates. That one takes 2 inputs, and so it'll take screws and plates and make reinforced iron plates. We're not there yet. So I'm not going to dump stuff into the power just yet. Actually, what I talked about future-proofing a little bit. We're going to put the smelter a little bit out. Now, if you hold down Control, you see how it kind of snaps? And now it is going to be in line with the miner. So I'll show you. So Control right there. So now I know that this is in line. I'm going to put it a little bit further away. So I can take a plate and run it from there to there. So now it's going to mine the iron ore and feed it into the smelter. Now the problem is the smelter is a dumb machine, so it doesn't know what I want. It can do iron or it can do ingots at this point. So we want to make this, since we have iron ore coming into it, you obviously can't make copper ingot. So it'll be feeding it up with iron, it'll just sit there and it won't do anything. But what we're going to do is we're going to put iron ingots there. And because we have all this ore sitting in our inventory, I can just drop that in there. So this is like a storage unit when it's not powered up. But it also gets it started. So rather than waiting for the ore to build up and build up and build up and come through and make enough so that it can make all those ingots, you can just drop the iron ore in. Okay, so now we've got our smelter, which is making ingots. So now that we have ingots, we're going to get a constructor, and we're going to put it right. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to put that right there. And so I am going to pull this out. Up there. This isn't going to be perfect, but it's close. So we have iron ingots coming out of this now. So now we have iron ingots coming in. We want to make iron plates. So now we're having this make iron plates. So this has iron ingots coming in. So if I had a bunch of iron ingots sitting here, I could drop those in here and do the same thing I did with dropping ore in there. So now I am going to do the thing that I was talking about with organization. I can build a storage unit right here. So I know I'm going to make iron plates. I know I'm going to build iron rods. I know I'm going to build concrete. I don't know why it's going higher there. Oh, because the ground's uneven. Concrete. I know I'm going to be building wire. And I know I'm going to be building cable eventually. So those are kind of my base supplies. So I've got concrete, plates, rods. I need one more. Screws. So we're going to have plates, rods, screws, concrete, wire, and cable. Initially, we're only going to have 3 of those going. So we have this constructor here. I kind of like lining them up in order. So I am going to put plates here, and I'm going to have this be rods and screws again eventually. So for right now, it's just going to kind of be spaghetti, because I don't have all the things unlocked to make this clean. So right now we have it that it'll mine the ore, smelt the ore, send the ore over here, turn it into plates, and do that. What we don't have is power. And so we need to take this guy and put it right. Actually, I'm going to put it right here for a reason. I'm going to bring this over here. And now I'm going to drag one off of this and bring it over here. And then I'm going to pull this one and put it right here. And again, this is messy early on, but there is a method to this madness. So I've got a power line. I'm going to bring it up here, hook it up to that. Oh yeah, forgot a very important step. So take the biomass, put it in there. Take the biomass, put it in there. Now we're producing power. So now this guy, green light, it's on. It's drilling. There's my dog. Private mailman's here. And so that's feeding in here. So now you can see it's not doing anything. So what's the problem? We've got where's the light on this bad boy? Rue's got something to say. So you can see how that's dark. That means there's no power. So what we do is come over here, hook this up, and now it's producing iron ingots. There they come. Same thing. They'll load up in here. So you'll start seeing them load up. And every 3 iron ingots we get, we're going to get 2 iron plates. But you can see right here, no power. So what we do is we grab this. Yeah, this one. And drop it in. And now wait for it. We get our first plates. So now that process is automated. So now I'm going to do the same thing with rods. I'm just going to start slapping another thing right down here that'll create rods, and I'll run it into, I'll probably actually check that. I'm going to build one over there and make this one rods. This one I'm going to leave empty for right now, just because I don't want to overload the power, because it's not, power isn't free in this early part of the game. So we need 2 miners. And then do we have enough to build? Do you have enough to build a miner? So we're going to do the same thing over here. Again, move this over here. Build the Mark 1 miner, face it this way. Again, a little less important that with all the facing and stuff like that. I care a lot more about that later. Right now I'm just trying to get things down. So again, we're going to make this iron, just because I kind of have to keep an eye on space here. I'm going to kind of make this one a little more compact, kind of put it at a weird angle. I'll pull this around, and we're out of plates. So come back down here. Well, now one of the advantages is we're actually building up plates. So that's automated. So I don't need to build by hand anymore. So come over here, put down that. I did put down a belt already, yes. Okay. So now we want this one producing rods. We can pull this around I don't want to start running things through it yet. Pull that right there. Got this with 3 nodes. Hang on, I'm going to do one other thing there. So put that there. I'm going to run this guy over here because I do want to automate. Now I need more cable. I do want to automate concrete because it doesn't matter yet, but you want to have a lot of concrete built up at that point in the game when we get there. So we need cable, I believe. So we'll build about 30 cable. That should be enough to get us there. That's good. Okay. It's looking efficient. Again, what I'm going to do, since I've just got ore sitting in my inventory, I'm going to drop it in here so that it starts it off being efficient. And I don't have to wait for it to load up. So we go there, and we go there. And so now that's going to start pumping out those. I did set this, right? Yeah. Okay. So now they start coming in. Starts pumping out rods. But you can kind of see how I laid this out. So I kind of had a plan for what I want to do. Is this one right here, I'm going to have it doing screws. So I'm going to run kind of this setup with a smelter and a constructor right here, and then I can feed the belt in. That way the belts aren't going through each other, which you can actually do pretty easily in this game. It's easier. So one thing I'm going to do out here is just build an equipment shop real quick. Build myself another miner. Actually didn't need to do that. Rufus has things to say today. Like I said, guys, this is going to be casual. People are probably walking their dogs around the neighborhood. I am going to build... How are we doing on plates and stuff? We're a little bit low. So plates are one of the things that you need in the early game because they're what all of your bands are. I don't need concrete yet. That'll be important in a little bit, but it's not super important right now. Because I can't build the actual base. I can't build the platforms that everything sits on. So now I'm going to grab this because I don't need that anymore. I'll grab that guy. Let's go ahead and build a Mark 1 miner here. Can't afford, I need concrete. Okay, so do I have... No, I don't have enough concrete in there. So I lied. Actually, do need concrete for that. Actually, hang on, do I need concrete for either of these? No, it's just the miner you need concrete for. Okay. Oh, and you need concrete for power poles too, so yeah, good thing. Come back. I'm trying to remember, did I leave this miner here? I think I did. If not, I think I've got 3 in my inventory, so... Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Okay, you come here, I'll take all of that. How many miners? I do have an extra miner in there. You know something? I'm going to throw another one on here. Just so that anytime I come up here, I can grab 200. What the hell? I'll build a craft bench up here. And we'll just build the concrete right here. Let me build 30. Oh yeah, that's right. Concrete is 3-to-1, so it's not quite efficient, which is another reason why you want to automate concrete as quick as possible. Just so that's always building in the background. I'm off by 1. And this one will, that's pure, so it'll give me 3. And that'll drive me nuts. So no, we're not. I almost ran right off the cliff. That would have been embarrassing. And we're going to put this back in my hands. Can't forget that. At least not in the early game. We haven't even run into hyper cows yet. which I think they're called spitters. I call them hyper cows. That kind of person. I think I am going to need more rods. So, rods are here. Let's grab that. So it's not making them very fast, but it is making them very efficiently, which is kind of what we want. So let's grab this. Same thing, I'm going to build 3, but I'm probably going to build it that way. So that one will power that. We'll grab this. And this one, I don't really care if it looks pretty. I just want to run it as far as possible. So there. Probably go a little farther, honestly, but there. And we're going to build a miner. And build a smelter. Sure. We're going to build a constructor. So, again, there are things like screws and cable are made from these components, but for right now, will that go down at that angle? It will. That's cool. But we're going to hold off on that for a bit until we absolutely need to. So we can stretch this out quite a ways, right about there. We'll bring this around because everything we build now is something we're going to have to delete later when we start. I'm out of plates. Everything we build now we have to delete later is basically what it comes down to. So I'm going to grab this, and eventually I'm going to pretty this up a lot, but today is not that day. Let's come over here. Just run it through here. It is kind of nice that they have made it so that you can clip things through. It used to be that you couldn't clip belts through things. So, especially in the early game, you'd just be trying to get things from point A to point B, and you'd have to run them around a building, and it's a pain in the ass. So, there we're turning that into wire, turning this into copper ingots, and of course that's a miner, so we're going to go put this one here, and this one here, because we are going to run it up that hill. Mining, smelting, constructing. So, comes down, starts drilling. My dog is giving me very dirty looks. You can't see it, but I can. I'll have to set up a Roo cam one of these days. Here comes the copper. Coming in, being smelted. There goes our first iron ingot. I think we need how many to make a copper wire? 1 makes 2. So there we go. Oh, do we have any copper ore? Oh, it's just copper, isn't it? Copper ore. So I'm going to do the same thing, just drop that in there. And that'll just make sure that it's going efficiently. So you can see how that's backing up. Like it'll go and it'll stop. When you're building efficiently, you never want to see that. You want to see something like this, where it's just a constant stream coming in and a constant stream going out and never stopping. That's what you want. So the fact that that's stopping means that's inefficient. So we're smelting slower than we're producing ore. So what I'd want to do eventually is put another smelter here and break that off so that I have 2 smelters going and going through this line and producing twice as much wire, and then that's efficient. And that's what I will eventually do, but right now I have to worry about power because my power isn't constant. So I come back over here. So now we're producing wire, we're producing rods, and storing it all. So one of the things I'm going to do, just so that I can keep track of where everything is I'm going to do this. And why I'm doing that, so that, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Actually didn't mean to make it that weird shape, but this will work. So once it comes into the storage unit, which it just did, feeds into the front. And now when I'm running along the front of this, I can tell, okay, that one's got copper wire. This one's got the plates. Wait, this one's got the plates. So I'll move that right there. So now it's feeding the plates there, and I can see that it's the plates. And my nature-loving butt here is going to get in trouble. So now I can see that's rods. So now just at a glance, I can see that's rods, that's plates, that's wire. And so when I need to go grab something, I can do it. So again, you can kind of see how this is stopping. So that means I'm producing more ingots than this can do, although it's close. So it's not hesitating real long, but it's still kind of doing the same thing that the ore was doing on the other side. So this isn't efficient. So what I'd need is another constructor here also pushing out rods. So it could be producing twice as many rods. But again, power is a consideration. So running fewer machines means that's more efficient power-wise. And you can also see how that's stopping. So again, it's not efficient. This one should be a little more efficient. Nope, again, the smelter. So for every one of these, typically you want, for a Mark 1, you want 2 smelters going. And 2 smelters will generally be good enough. You can set up another one of these lines. So one of these, you can have it producing 2 plates every, how many seconds? So you can be producing 40 plates a minute, or you can be producing 80 rods a minute. And so you'll build up on those once it's efficient. But I typically don't do that until I've got coal, because yeah, that's kind of when you can stop really worrying about low-level power. So let's just go ahead, and I'm just going to load up on these, because I'm going to build one more for concrete, and then we're going to call it a day. I'll end the stream there. I will go ahead and grab all of these. Yeah, there's no reason not to just grab everything. So we're going to run over here, build one portable miner. Wait. No, I've got portable miners up there. I don't need to do that. Think, Mike. Use the noodle. I do need to build a constructor up there, though. Yes, I got just barely enough, although I don't have enough cable to run power up there. How am I doing on rods? 139, that should be enough. Yeah, I need cable. I did build this in a bad place. Probably built myself like 50 cable. It's 1 to 2, so you'll go through your wire pretty quick. Yeah, that's probably good. I want to leave myself some wire, because you're going to be, you need wire to build the poles. So let's go up here. So the question is, where do I want to land the concrete? So I'm going to have plates, reinforced plates. Wait, did I count that up right? So we got rods, screws, plates. I think I was going to make this one concrete. This one will be cable. I haven't done reinforced plates yet because we don't have assemblers. That's what it was. Okay. So we're going to go up here, grab both of those, and we're going to set up a concrete line. You know, I take it back. I am going to build concrete right here, which maybe not the most efficient idea. But it's a shorter path. Do that. Show you why in a second, although you can probably guess. And again, this is another one where it's not going to be super efficient because we don't have a splitter yet. So there's a lot of things that are, yep, pick up the miner, and we'll pick up that miner, and we're going to do the same thing where we're just going to fill the constructor with that ore. I'm going to have it facing this way initially. I don't need that up here anymore. Let's go ahead and build the constructor right there. It should. Yeah, we'll set that to concrete. So you see it'll take the limestone. I wonder if it'll take 200? No, it only takes 100. Okay, yeah, sure. Bring this right over here. And one thing I like about Satisfactory is it does have a really long draw distance. It's pretty nice. So we're going to grab this guy right there, bring it up here, attach to that, attach to that. And now, ran out of power. That's the problem. Okay, so we've hit the limit on the amount of power we can do. And the question is, did we run out of biomass or did we run out of power? And it's possible that those two biomass burners don't have enough power. So you can see they're still green. Yeah, so that's a problem. So we're going to do this. So what happens, and I'm glad it did that because this is a good example. Let's go ahead and sort that. So there's as many there. So what happens is we have more load on this line than we have power producing. So now what we need to do is come down here to power and build another biomass burner. And I don't have enough cable or enough wire. So we're going to build some wire. We need copper ingots. I'm just going to do them all. We don't have that much copper ore here to build. And I'll kind of walk through this too. And I'll be doing a lot more explaining on this one. In later ones, I'll just kind of tell you what I'm going to do and then do it. And this one, I'm kind of trying to explain the game. This is a let's play after all. So what we're going to do now is we've got Mark 1 Powerful, which we've been building. So right over here, this right here, we have max production right now is 0 because nothing's on. But you can see this produces 6.67. It goes through 6.67 a minute. It creates 20 megawatts of power. So right here, we've got 40 megawatts of power. The problem is that our max consumption of all of our stuff running, which it will be, is 48. So we need 48. We're only producing 40. What happens is it's going to crash. There's just not enough power to feed everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to build one of these bad boys, which is a biomass burner. And this one produces 30. So now we're going to have 70 power coming in and we only need 48. So what I like to do is have a pole sitting here and then connect it into this one, because now I can build other biomass burners as needed and put it in there. So same thing, these burn biomass, so you're running around grabbing plants the entire time. But now my max capacity is going to be 70, so when I flip this switch, you're going to see that it's 48, and we're going to be back in the black. So here's our consumption is 34. It's going to kick on when the concrete starts going. Max consumption is 44. Our capacity is 70. So this is our capacity, this line up here. This is what we're currently producing. This blue line is if all of our machines were at 100% efficiency, which they aren't because the ore is stopping up and the ingots are stopping up. That means that it's not up here, it's down here. When you're going for full efficiency, you always want this black line, this blue line to be together. But the most important thing is you always want your capacity, this light gray line, to be above your production and your max consumption, especially your max consumption. Otherwise, you're going to have power shutting off all the time. So that is that now everything is producing. We've got 4 factories. The concrete's coming down. We should have more wire coming down. We're good there. I've got a little bit extra ore that I think I can dump in here. That should have stopped. Nope, it already filled back up. So we're good there. We're good there. This is filling up. That's good. We've got a whole 5 concrete. So let's see what we need to unlock the next level. I think the next level we actually need the space elevator for, which the space elevator needs a ton of these basic components. But once we have the space elevator built, no, we can unlock tier 1 and 2. So base building is key because you can start doing these foundations, and that's where you can start building the actual base. Logistics is good because you can start doing the splitter. So like I was talking about, that there's inefficiencies where if I could take that feed of ore and crack it into 2, the splitter actually lets you crack it into 3. Pretty big deal. Field research, what all did they dump in here? Personal storage box. So these are useful. They're giving you the map now early, which is good. It used to be that you wouldn't unlock that one until somewhere up in here, and you need the map early. So post assembly, that's the assembler. That's the one where we'll start being able to automate making those reinforced reinforced plates. Rotors are important for a lot of things. Smart plating, we need to feed that into the space elevator, but we'll get there. Chainsaw, one's always fun. But you get solid biofuel, which is even more efficient. Jump pads. I've never used jump pads or the landing pad. I might do that this playthrough just because I've never used them, so it could be fun to give them a shot. They're not unuseful, I just don't use them. So builder upgrade. Oh, so that's your customizer. So that's cool. So that's when you can start changing the color of things. Awesome Sync is really useful. This is where you start getting the faster belts and the stackable conveyor poles, which is nice. So what do we need for this? So we need 50 reinforced iron plates, so we still have to build those by hand. That is useful. I don't think you get coal until you have the space elevator up and running. I don't think you get coal until, until level or tier 4. So what do we want to do? Base building is really useful because then you can start snapping things to a grid, and I can start building sort of the outside theme of the base, or laying down where I want it to be. So that's kind of important. Logistics, that splitter is huge, and that one's not hard to get. Field research, these aren't super important yet, but you do get the extra hand slot, which is big. The beacon's kind of nice because you can kind of start scouting out places and say, ooh, this is a place that'll be important later. But you know something? I think this is a good place to call it for right now. So let's take a quick look around and see what we've accomplished. I'm going to climb up on this so I can get a good look at things. So we've got 4 mines going that are building concrete. We're building plates, we're building rods, and we're building wire. And that is our very, very basic components. And eventually what we're going to do is we're going to speed things up. Split this off so it's building wire and cable, splitting rods off, or building another miner that's building just screws. We'll have screws and plates feeding together to build the reinforced plates. We'll have rods and screws going together to make rotors. So it'll be fun. We got a bunch of things coming up that'll be super fun, but this is the start. And I'm thinking eventually, my iron base, I'm going to build it up here at about that level. just so that critters can walk around. There's like a big pudgy thing that looks like a beanbag with a turtle face that occasionally walks through here. Although I haven't seen it this playthrough, so maybe they moved its route. But I kind of like to do that and be able to look down at everything. It's weird, but it's me.